Bruce Ramsay, Rammer. How you doing today?
Yeah, doing great, Kev. Yourself?
I'm doing well. We've been brought here together by Marnie Oliphant, who's asked that we jump on a call, kind of in a Where Are They Now series. And so, because I am local here in Dryden, it's me here in the headquarters here at Shaw, all hooked up and kind of making a return to the booth because this is something that I've taken a bit of a dabble in, but I'm really excited to get on and get to talk to some local Dryden talent, hockey players from past and present. And so, of course, myself currently playing, yourself, you've, kind of led my way, so to speak, in terms of Dryden hockey players who have gone on to further their careers in the game. And so there's a bit of a ritual at Dryden Arena where they've got photos on the wall, and if you look at the lineup, you'll see the likes of yourself, the likes of myself, and so very cool to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You can't beat being up at my cabin on Rainy Lake and enjoying the summer and after a hectic season. So kind of nice to get a little downtime and obviously get on the lake and catch some fish, which we all love to do in northwestern Ontario.
I want to ask you about your playing career and ask you about where it's taken you and I guess highlights from your career.
Well, sure. Fire away. I'm ready to hopefully give you the right answer.
So you left Dryden at what age and where did that take you? And so kind of I guess you can guide us through the steps you took all the way through till present day, I suppose.
Wow, that's quite a long story. I'm getting old. Well, you know what? Started out back in the day. They used to have two junior teams in Thunder Bay, and they combined them to make the Thunder Bay Flyers. And that was fresh out of a AAA midget out of Kenora. Actually, I think I played on the first combined Dryden Kenora team that there ever was. And from there, got recruited to Thunder Bay, and like all of us, went on our tryouts and was fortunate enough to somehow find a way to make the team. I think it was more for my fighting skill than my hockey skill, but worked out well. So got my start in Thunder Bay with Dave Siciliano, was a great coach and a good mentor of mine. And he was fortunate enough to play on two USHL championship teams. And one of those teams actually went on to win the Royal Bank Cup, now the Centennial Cup, or the Centennial Cup then. I think it's changed name a couple times, but that was funny. And actually, after that, I went out to Vernon, BC, and played 1 year in the BCHL and won another Centennial Cup out there. I was very fortunate again. And it was kind of weird because after that, I retired from hockey and decided I was going to go to university in Thunder Bay. And once I was there, I got a call from Gary Cook of the Thunder Bay Twins, the old senior team. And he talked me into playing senior hockey for a season. And really enjoyed that. Was focused on my school, and the next year they decided to put a pro hockey league together called the Colonial Hockey League, and Thunder Bay was obviously one of the new franchises. And I signed my first pro contract and went on to win played 5 years there and win 3 championships for Thunder Bay Senators, Thunderhawks, and what was the last name of the team? I don't know. There was 3 different names, but really enjoyed my time. Had a lot of good friends, and it was funny. As I got older, I got a little better as a player. I was still always pretty tough, but got an opportunity to go to a couple of tryouts in the American Hockey League and the old International Hockey League. And a friend of mine, local Northwestern Ontario boy, Dave Allison, was the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins, and he called me up when I was 27 years old, and I went down on a 2-week contract. And I think that was like 26 years ago, and I'm still in the States today coaching. So it was a pretty dominant change of my life. And, met my ex-wife there and had my kids and spent, 3 years in Grand Rapids, and then toured around the States, got into coaching, and, I've been coaching for 20 years now.
It's amazing to me at every stage of my hockey career, I've been told it'll be gone in a second, it'll be by in a flash, and so you go move away, play AAA hockey, they'll say, it's over before you know it, and then you go on to pro, and they say, it'll be over before you know it, and I'm at that stage where I look back on how far I've come, and it has truly happened in a blink. You did a little bit of player coaching. What did that look like? I'm looking at your elite prospects, and there's a lot of crossover in the years, it looks like. What does that look like?
Yeah, when I was a player assistant coach for 4 years on, I think, 4 different teams. So it really got me a head start into coaching. Learned a lot off the coaches that I had. got to run practices, do video, and do different things like that. So it was a great stepping stone for me once I retired to jump right into coaching. I was fortunate enough to get a job in what was the now the SPHL, was called the Atlantic Coast Hockey League back then, in St. Petersburg, Florida. Our team, I think, lasted about 2 months and then got moved in the middle of the night to Winston-Salem. That was my first coaching job. And from there, I actually ended up getting called up to Port Huron to coach in the United Hockey League. So it was kind of my first year of coaching was pretty eventful. I coached on 3 different teams and never got fired, I always say. So, but, that was the start of my career, and then ended up, coaching in the UHL and for a number of years, and spent some time in the American Hockey League with the Grand Rapids Griffins. I was an assistant coach there for 3 years, and, I won a Calder Cup. I was very fortunate to win that. And then now I'm in Wichita, Kansas, coaching in the East Coast Hockey League, which is, as you know, a very, very good hockey league.
Amazing. I really think it's cool how you've had such a lengthy playing career turned playing career turned coaching career, and how you were able to have that little bit of crossover in between. Let's bring it back to when times were a little less business, a little more fun. And, as both being from Dryden, we can probably cite similar places of where we might have grown up playing, whether it be at the Dryden Rec or surrounding rinks, maybe out at Milestone. I could talk memories of growing up in Dryden playing all day long, but I'd like to hear highlights of your childhood growing up. Were you walking miles back and forth to the rink for practice, or is that just seemingly everybody's story?
No, you know what? I did a lot of walking with my hockey bag, and my dad worked out of town quite a bit, and my mom didn't drive. So if I wanted to skate, I had to get out in the snow. And I remember crossing the train tracks, walking from North Dryden and jumping over trains with my hockey bag and hockey sticks, and getting to the rink for a 7 o'clock morning practice, and leaving the gear there and picking it up after school. But kind of lived in a few different places in Dryden. Like you, spent a lot of time in the outdoor rinks. Actually, I think when I was 5 years old was when the rink burnt down. So I do remember playing youth hockey at Milestone Arena. That's where the youth hockey was held that year while they were building the present day rink that is there now. So, but yeah, I remember the one time I jumped over the train to get to the rink, and that train started moving when I had my hockey bag on my back. One of the scariest moments of my life, but it didn't stop me. I was back over that train the next day getting ready for practice.
And speaking of, the rink, and of course, I've only heard stories of that time when the rink burnt down and they had to do renovations and stuff like that. But actually, right now, we've got to give huge credit to Marnie Oliphant and company over at the Dream team there, who have been working tirelessly to raise funds for current renovations that are currently undergoing. So important to maintain and upkeep those facilities so that people, generations behind myself, behind us, are encouraged to continue using that so that they can, experience a lot of what hockey was able to provide us. And so, huge shout out to the Dream team. Thank you so much for your continuous efforts. Rammer, where are you now? You said you're out at the lake, and understandably so. It's a long season every season. Recharge the batteries, gearing up. Are you gearing up for another season of coaching?
Yes, I am. I'm going back to Wichita to be my 4th season there. So part of my job in the summertime is to recruit players like yourself. I think we had a conversation a couple of years ago, but you were already signed in Kansas City at the time, so I was a little late. But fortunately, you didn't play that year, so I didn't have to coach against you because we played them numerous times. But yeah, part of my job, like I said, is recruiting hockey players. So I'm putting my team together, and in the meantime, finding ways to get out in the water. And I'm just by Fort Francis, called a little place called Bears Pass. It's right at the end of the Dryden Highway, or people call it the Fort Highway in Fort Francis. But yeah, it's beautiful up here. It's no other place I'd rather be than on the water in northwestern Ontario, for sure.
Last question for you. Thank you so much for your time. We learned so much in our time playing the game, coaching the game. I wanted to ask you, what have you got in your hockey bag that you've learned, maybe it be years ago, about the game, and how has what you've learned from the game allowed your success beyond the game?
Well, I think managing people, players specifically, is a huge part of the game. I think it's one of the most important parts. You can talk about the X's and O's and everything else like that, but when it comes down to it, you have to earn the trust of your players. They have to believe in you and understand that, as a coach, I'll do anything for them. And in reciprocal, I expect them to come out and play as hard as they possibly can each and every night. But developing those relationships with your players, I think, is a real key to having success as a coach. And obviously, the X's and O's are important, and practices and getting better and all those things. But once you get to the pro level, learning how to deal with the players is something that I think has really helped me throughout my career, and made me better and better as a coach as well.
Absolutely. I think communication in all careers, regardless of what it is, sport, business, these different things, the ability to communicate, understand, relate to, and manage as you are in the position is so crucial. And I think the longer we get to practice those in the game, the better suited we are for life after hockey, so to speak. Thank you so much for your time, Rammer.
All right, Kevin, take care.